Hi, my beautiful magical friends. Steph here, founder of Raise Your Vibe Today, co-founder of Queen Bee School. It has been a hot minute since you have heard from me, and if you have read the title, which I'm sure you have already, then you might kind of have an idea why I've been hiding a bit. And this is definitely a story and something that happened to me that I never thought that I would ever share. Or I kind of went back and forth with, do I tell, do I not tell, do I say something, do I not say something? I've never ever posted anything about this on social media or anything like that. And I got a very strong intuitive download a couple, even like 2 months ago, that this was something that I needed to share with you guys. And then today it was like, now's the time, now's the time, now's the time, because I'm ready to start engaging again. I'm ready to start emailing these awesome emails again. I'm ready to start making videos again. But it kind of is weird for me just to pop back up after 2 months of hiding, and you guys have no idea why. So I wanted to share this with you because I want this to empower you. Also because it's a freaking crazy story that literally is the divine working through me. You will see what I mean. I mean, it is crazy. You can't make this up. This is like a movie. It's totally crazy what went down and what happened. And even though it was very, very scary, again, it really solidified my connection with source and the divine and how we create our reality, and how basically we're almost living in like a game or something. It's just crazy, like a video game. Anyway, about 4 months ago now, I've been in Panama for about 4 months, and this all started to happen about a month prior to me leaving. I, as the title says, had a stalker. So there was a guy who had been following me, hanging out in my neighborhood for many, many months. Because he had been hanging out in my neighborhood for many, many months, I thought that he lived there. I thought that he was a neighbor, and he was a familiar-ish face to me. I had seen him before. I was home alone because Andy travels a lot. Andy's my boyfriend. He's the owner of Mindset by Design. I think you guys have probably met him before or heard of him before in my emails and videos. He was out of town at the time, and I was upstairs by myself. I was actually talking to him on WhatsApp, and I heard my sliding glass door open because it's very, very loud. And I ran downstairs and saw a man on my patio and started screaming. He froze, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm a neighbor, I'm a friend." So I opened up the door. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Your dog was trying to get out. He was trying to get out, so I just opened your door just this much," which it was. It was open only this much, just enough to push her in. And here's the thing: is that all of that seemed far-fetched and weird, but my dog had left before, had escaped before, and I've had neighbors actually knock on my door and bring her to me, and I didn't even know she was gone. And then the other thing is that because I had seen him around and he was telling me, "I'm a neighbor, I'm a friend, I live right next door, I live blah blah blah," I believed him because I saw him. The other thing about it is that because he had been following me for so many months, he knew exactly who lived where and when they left for work and when they came back from work. So he knew that my neighbor, for example, that there was a guy that lived next door, and that there was a woman that lived next door to her. And so he had all his ducks in a row as far as details. So even though my intuition was like, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right, his words were correct. That's lesson number one, is that there's nothing more important than how you feel. And if you feel scared, follow that feeling. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I almost felt bad for him. I felt bad that, what I even told him, I said, "Listen, I'm sorry that I screamed at you, but you have got to understand that you can't do this because somebody's gonna shoot you or something." Like, I'm sitting here giving him advice, right? He did this twice, you guys. He showed up on my patio twice, and the second time he had some other excuse as to why he was there. He wanted to make sure it was okay. He smoked a cigarette outside. Again, he knew that my neighbor was not home, and he told me that he lived there. So he hung out on the back patio the whole time smoking cigarettes, put up his feet. So here I am seeing him hanging out there thinking, oh my gosh, this weirdo guy lives next door to me now. What the hell am I gonna do? Right, so a couple days go by and I'm still really unnerved by what had happened. So I go to my next door neighbor's house and I go, listen, can I ask you a question? Do you have a guy living with you that looks like this and da 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 da? And he says, no, I don't. I haven't had anybody living with me since my son, like 2 years ago. And that's when I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. That guy was trying to break into my house. That is a bad person. He was gonna do something bad to my house, bad to myself, bad to me. So I started to freak out, right? Locked my doors all the time, closed all my windows, just couldn't wait for Andy to get back. And then finally Andy comes home. Well, after Andy got back, I started to feel a little bit more comfortable with opening the windows, opening the blinds. So we have a beautiful little lake behind our townhouse there in Tampa. And so once Andy got back, I started to feel more comfortable with opening the blinds up slightly and even letting some airflow in and all of this stuff. Well, one day, a couple weeks later, probably like 3 weeks later or so from the first incident, he shows up at my house again, 9 a.m. in the morning. And I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you this detail or not, but I think it's an important detail. So he was actually this time out there again, exposing himself, pants completely down. And Andy was upstairs seeing a client. I was downstairs by myself, and my immediate reaction was to just scream my head off. And so I scream my head off, and what happens? Andy hears me and books it downstairs. The guy hears me and books it around the corner, and Andy runs barefoot. This is an important part of the story, as you will soon see when it comes to divine working through me in freaking crazy ways. Andy runs down the stairs all the way to the front of the neighborhood, like way down the street, barefoot on the concrete. And the guy actually had a getaway car. Andy believes he had a getaway driver. I wasn't there, I didn't see any of this, but his car, like if the parking spots are parked this way, his car was parked this way, headed out of the neighborhood. So by the time Andy got to him, he couldn't get a tag, he couldn't get a proper description of the car. He knew it was a red car, he knew it was a Ford, well, he knew it was like a little small boxy car, but he didn't know the make, model, he didn't know the tag number, it just all happened so fast. So I call the police, they come, they basically tell me they can't really do anything because we don't have fingerprints, we don't have video, we don't have a tag number, we really don't have much of anything, but they did their best to get all the information that they could from me to catch this guy, which they kind of knew they weren't gonna be able to do. I was feeling very, very scared. Andy was feeling very, very scared, but we knew we were leaving for Panama in a week. So I told myself, I'm like, look, listen, we just have a week to ride this out. And hopefully he's not stupid enough to show back up in a week. And then I'll be out of the country and I don't have to worry about this anymore. Well, Andy, again, like I said, ran with his bare feet on concrete. And we started to see that he can't walk. He can't walk, he can't put any weight on his foot. So he's really injured himself. But Andy's the type of person, and I think you guys probably know people like this, that doesn't really like to go to the doctor, wants to ride things out, wants to see if he can heal naturally, wants to ice it, wants to do all this stuff, but he literally can't put any weight on it. So I tell him, I say, listen, put your foot in this bucket of ice water, let's put it up, let's wrap it, let's do all these things. And then in the morning, I'm going to go to Walgreens and get you a pair of crutches. So if you live in the United States, Walgreens is basically a drugstore or a pharmacist. And they have different things for different ailments, and they have crutches and canes and, ace bandages and things like that. So I had to go to the Panamanian consulate in the morning because I was bringing my dogs to Panama. So that meant that I was on a completely different side of town that I normally would have been on. And I went to a completely different Walgreens than I would have normally gone to, because basically where I was driving, what was closer was a different Walgreens. It's only about a mile away from the one that I went to, but it's off the, if you guys live in Tampa, the Veterans Expressway. So it's right off that exit, right? For whatever reason, I don't know why, my intuition was like, get off here, get off an exit earlier and go to this other Walgreens. Don't ask me why, I have no idea why, but that's what I did. Actually, I take that back. I thought to myself, let's go to Target. Go to Target instead, because you need to buy some stuff for your trip. But then as I got closer to Target, I thought, you know what? I don't even know if Target has crutches. I know Walgreens has crutches, but now I'm over here, so I might as well go to this Walgreens, right? So I go into Walgreens, grab the crutches, walk down the aisle. This is where things get crazy. So if that story wasn't already crazy enough, it gets even crazier. I get the crutches. I'm going down a particular aisle inside of Walgreens. I look and I see someone stocking water. And all of a sudden my heart sinks, my stomach drops, my whole entire adrenaline shoots through the roof, and I'm like frozen. It's the guy. It's the guy who was stalking me. It's the guy who came to my house and tried to break in. It's the guy who exposed himself. It's him. And he worked at that Walgreens. He was at work that particular time, that particular day. I just so happened to go down that particular aisle. I just so happened to go to that exact store. And basically what I did was caught him. I took a bunch of pictures of him, called the police immediately. You know, a lot of things happened for them to end up finally catching him. He followed me in the store. He followed me out the door. Like, a lot of scary stuff happened after that. But the moral of the story is that he got caught because Andy hurt his foot. And because Andy hurt his foot, I had to go to Walgreens. And because I just happened to get off on that particular exit, because I thought, oh, I'll go here and no, I'll go there, I caught his ass. I caught him. And crazy story, can't make this up. But because all of that happened, and because I moved to a new country, and because I was very, very stressed out about this, it was, when something like that happens to you, it really makes you question your safety. It makes you question what you're doing. It makes you question everywhere you go. You're kind of watching your back. I was a little bit scared to even show up on social media. I didn't even do Insta stories for a really long time. I really just needed some time to myself to allow myself to not only feel more comfortable here in this new space, in this new country, but also to fully understand what happened to me and how I felt about it. So that's the story. There's much more to the story, but I wanted to give you the cliff notes because I can see it. I've already been talking for 12 minutes. But I'm back. I'm back in action. I feel amazing. I feel safe. I'm not going to be living in that townhouse anymore, where we're actually going to be getting rid of that townhouse, so I don't even have to worry about him knowing where I live anymore. I am going to be spending more time in Panama, so I'm a whole many thousands of miles away, so I feel really safe. I feel really comfortable. I feel like the divine moved through me and freaking caught his ass and showed me manifesting and showed me my connection to source. And so this is the thing too, is that even though it sucked and even though it was horrible and even though it was really scary, I really look at it as a blessing because it taught me so many things. It also taught me that I'm supposed to move away from that place. Many things for another day. But just know that I am back in action now. I'm so excited to connect with you guys again and spend time with you guys again, both in the Mindset by Design for Her group, in the Goddess Network group, in the Queen Bee School group, all of the groups. I'm just real, and also on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. My Instagram is at Stephanie Matos 1111 if you want to follow me on there. Very active on Insta stories. You can follow my day-to-day activities. But I just want you guys to know that I'm back in action. I'm ready to start kind of putting some amazing content out there again and sharing a lot of knowledge and skills and all kinds of stuff with you guys again. And I hope that you can forgive me for being gone for 2 months, and I hope that you can understand after this story why I started to hide and feel like I needed some bandwidth and some space to heal myself. But I'm feeling so much better now. So much better now. If you guys have any questions for me about coaching, if you have any questions for me about what happened to me, if you have any questions for me about living a nomadic lifestyle, living this laptop lifestyle, if you have any questions for me about Queen Bee School, about Mindset by Design for Her, if you just have any questions for me about anything, please feel free to hit reply to this email or leave me a comment down below this video. I can't wait to hang out with you guys so much more. And until we meet again, I want to wish you so much love, so many blessings, and I'll speak to you so soon. Bye. Mwah.